I spent 4 years being the quiet wife at my husband's high-stakes corporate galas. When I married Julian, his old money family made it clear they thought I was a temporary lapse in judgment, a girl from a trailer park who hit the lottery. Because I rarely spoke at their elite events, they assumed I was simple. They didn't know that while they ignored me, I was teaching myself 3 languages just to feel like I belonged in Julian's world. By our 4th anniversary, I was fluent in French, Italian, and Mandarin, but I kept it a secret. I wanted to surprise Julian with a trip to Rome where I'd finally speak to him in his native tongue, but a week before our anniversary, I walked into Julian's home office and heard him on a video call. He was speaking Italian. I was about to burst in, but his tone stopped me. It was cold. "She has no clue," Julian said in perfect Italian to the woman on the screen. "I've been setting the stage for months. It's better this way. If she knew the extent of what I was doing behind her back, she'd leave before I could finish the job." The woman laughed. "And the family? Do they know you're finally getting rid of the dead weight?" "Saturday," Julian replied, his face expressionless. "Saturday is the end of it. I've already moved the assets. She'll walk away with nothing but the clothes on her back." I backed out of the room, my heart hammering against my ribs. Dead weight. Moving assets. My mother's voice rang in my head. "Men like Julian don't love girls like us. They just own us until the novelty wears off." For the next 5 days, I lived in a waking nightmare. I watched Julian sign papers he hid when I entered the room. I watched him whisper to his mother, the woman who loathed me, and saw her smirk as she patted his hand. I started packing a secret bag. I moved my meager savings to a private account. I was grieving a man who was sitting right across from me at dinner. Saturday arrived. Julian drove us to his family's private estate. The entire clan was there, standing on the marble terrace, looking like a jury ready to deliver a verdict. Julian led me to the center of the terrace. The silence was deafening. His father stepped forward with a legal folder. This was it. The public divorce. The humiliation. Julian took the folder. He looked at me, and then he began to speak not in English, but in Italian, so his family could fully understand his shame. "For 4 years, Julian said to the crowd, you all treated my wife like a guest who stayed too long. You whispered about her pedigree and waited for me to fix my mistake." He looked at me, his eyes suddenly glistening. "So I spent the last 6 months fixing it." He opened the folder and handed me a deed. "I've moved every cent of my personal inheritance into a trust in your name," he said, switching back to English so I could understand. "And these papers? They are the resignation letters I sent to the firm. We aren't staying here. I bought that vineyard in Tuscany you saw in a magazine once. I'm done being their son. I just want to be your husband." The woman from the video call stepped forward. She was a high-end international realtor, not a mistress. She smiled and nodded. My breath hitched. My family-in-law looked horrified. Julian leaned in, whispering, "I'm sorry I had to be so secretive. I knew they'd try to freeze the accounts if they found out I was leaving the dynasty for you." I looked at his stunned, arrogant father, and then back to Julian. I didn't sign. And I didn't cry. I looked his mother straight in the eye and spoke in flawless, elegant Italian. "Then I suppose we should go. The air here has always been a bit thin for my taste." The look on their faces was better than any lottery win. 10 years later, we're sitting on a porch overlooking the vines and grieve. Julian still tells people that the best day of his life wasn't the day he gave me a fortune, it was the day he realized I'd been listening to him all along.